Hi, I'm Liz and we are at EMO's Creative Studio. And today's video, I'm going to show you all of the rulers and measuring tools that I have acquired over these past few years for my sewing and quilting needs. This will be a quick run through. In future videos, I will go ahead and show you how to use the specialty rulers. But until then, let's get started. Here's the collection that I have. And it's a pretty decent collection. I have all sorts of rulers, and I'll go through each one and tell you what it's used for, and if I remember where I got it and why I got it. These first four rulers are the first rulers that I ever purchased. These are made from the OmniGrip or OmniGrid company. This one right here is a 12.5 square. It's 12.5 all the way around. You need to cut a piece of fabric. You can lay it on the fabric, put this edge against the against the fold, which makes it a natural line, and then make your cut. This one is a 6-inch square ruler. If you notice these rulers, they have hash marks at every 1/4 inch. So let's say that this is 1 inch. This first mark right here, or the second mark, is a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch. This one goes into eighths, but in each one of the squares that go up and down, you'll see that it's a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch on this ruler. Now these two, this one is a 4-inch ruler, and this one is a 4.5 inch ruler. Again, it's the same size all the way around. But these, if you could see very carefully, have a smaller grid to it. So instead of having the 1/4 and the 1/8, it's broken up into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's broken up into eighths in each square, if you could see very carefully. Again, these were the first rulers that I purchased. I bought it at one of the box stores. Relatively inexpensive. If you're a newbie quilter or a new sewer, these would be great for you to pick up. Now, these particular rulers don't have any grips on the bottom. What helps it stay on the fabric from moving around is the raised numbers and the raised lines that they put. You do have to put pressure to hold it down. So, let me show you the next set I have. Now the next two are from a different company. These are from the Simplicity company. These are called Simply Easy Squares. And this one is a 9.5 inch square all the way around. And this one is a 6.5 inch square all the way around. And this too, if you look at the blocks, it's measured off into 1/4 inch segments. Down at the bottom, it's measured off into 8 segments. Now with these particular rulers, what I went ahead and did at one of the quilting shows, there was a gentleman selling some grips. And what I went ahead and did is I purchased these grips and I put them on to the bottom of my 2 rulers. You notice that it's easy to slide around, but if you put pressure on it, it won't move as easy. So I have it on this square and on this square. I will have to look up the name of these rubberized grips for you, but these are great. It's well worth the money. Let me show you the next set that I got. I decided I was going to graduate to long rulers, so the very first ruler I bought was this one, and this one is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 inch across by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 long. This is by Fiskars, and this too, I do not have any grips at the bottom. So this is more for nostalgia than anything. I don't use this anymore. I want to keep it. I don't want to get rid of it. So in graduating up into a larger, I decided that I was going to still continue with the easy ruler, the Simplicity company, which this is, and I got myself these 2 rulers right here. Now I did add the grips to these rulers right here on the long edge of each one. This one is a Simply Ease ruler, again from the Simplicity Company. This one is an Easy Rule by Sharon Hultgren. These are my two rulers that I use constantly. When I'm working on a bigger project, I'll use this ruler. But for majority, if not all of my cutting needs, I use this ruler. Again, it has the grips to help me hold on to when I'm cutting my projects up. Let me show you what I have next. The very first specialty ruler I purchased was this Shape Cut by June Taylor Incorporated. And what this is to make my own jelly roll strips. And this is a ruler that measures 12 inches square all the way around. But if you notice, it's cut in the middle. And it's cut every half inch, every quarter inch, if I'm not mistaken. So when you put your ruler down, you can actually see the lines that you're going to be cutting. And you can put your rotary cutter right here at the beginning. Right here, let me show you, let me see if you can see better. Right here, you start your rotary cutter right here, and then you make your cut through. I thought I would be able to use this on a consistent, regular basis, but because it moves around kind of easily, I made a lot of mistakes. I haven't put grippers on the bottom of it, but I think I will invest in grippers and put it on the bottom, because this is a pretty neat ruler that you can make your own jelly rolls to the size. Rather than it being a strip of 2.5, you can make it 3.5, 4.5, 5.5, and make your strips. This is, again, the very first specialty ruler that I bought. It's called Shape Cut, and it's made by June Taylor, if you can see it right here. Now, the next bunch of rulers are all little small, little specialty rulers. This ruler is called a Easy Dresden, and I'm sure you've seen when you're looking at patterns how it has the oblong, and people wonder, if you're a newbie quilter, how you make the cuts of the fabric. Well, this is how you use it. It goes from narrow all the way to the top. It starts, I believe, at 1 inch and goes all the way up to this measurement right here. Let me use one of my other rulers to see how long it is. I believe it goes from 1 to 3.5 inches long. And then you can make it as tall as you want, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, up to 8 inches. And you can make your piece of fabric look like this. It's a Dresden plate. I will insert a picture of what a Dresden plate block looks like, so you can see, you can visualize how you would cut your fabric using this particular specialty ruler. The next specialty ruler I got was called a FiveandDime. And what this ruler does, it will help you make a block. And I'm looking for the instructions so that I can tell you. It's called a FiveandDime ruler. And what you can do with this is when you're using a 10-inch square piece of fabric called a layer cake and a charm piece, you can actually center that charm piece using this ruler. You would put it at the edge of the 10-inch. Let's see, the edge of the 10-inch, and then you would put your charm pack piece of fabric right here to measure up. I believe you can use this to also cut your fabric for this FiveandDime quilt. It's supposed to be a very popular quilt. Of course, I got it because I saw it. I have not really used this particular ruler as of yet. I have just a regular ruler by OmniGrip. It's a 12-inch ruler by 1.25 inch wide. It really works when I'm trying to measure up little things like straps or tabs. The next one I got is called a X blocks. And what this is, you can see that the X is not centered. This is if you want to make a wonky type block, meaning off-centered like this. Instead of your block being centered to the eye, you're going to line up your lines, whatever line you use, to to, let's say you're doing it on a fold and you line it up, and you will cut your block at an angle. I'm not really sure what the degree of the angle is, but this is a cute little ruler that I decided to get. I believe it makes a 6.5 inch, no, 3.25 inch square. Again, this is called an X block. The next thing I got was just a little ruler from the Fat Quarter shop. It's called Creative Grids, and this one comes with the grid in the back, or the stabilizer in the back, so it doesn't move when you are using it to cut smaller objects. This one is a 2.5 by 5 or 6.5. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5 inches long. This is very good to have handy when you're at your cutting table. And of course, because I love myself some Missouri Star Quilt Company and Jenny, I went ahead and got her little ruler. This one is 2.5 by 8. I love this ruler. It's really great when I'm working on little projects like my pouches and bags and things like that. This is a little perfect placing seam guide, and what this is, if you can see right here, it's got a little pinhole. Let me see if I can. And what this pinhole will do is, if you are someone like me who cannot sew a straight line for her life, you would put the needle of your that's on your machine through this pinhole, make sure that this is straight, and you would take a piece of tape or a measuring implement or some type of measuring tool and place it on your machine, and it will give you a scant 1/4 inch, and that's what this is right here, scant 1/4 inch. I like this. On one of my other machines, I did this. I put the needle through this little hole, and I marked my machine with tape to make sure that I would be sewing at a scant 1/4 inch. This is a measuring gauge. This has been a lifesaver. It, on one side, goes from 1/4 of an inch to 2 inches, and each black mark will tell you what the measurement is. On the other side, it's 1/8. It starts at 1/8 and goes all the way up to 1 1/8, 1 3/8, if you can see right here. This has been a lifesaver for me. I know some of the YouTubers have made their own out of cardboard, but I didn't figure that out until later. This I went and purchased. The last thing I bought was something that was kind of a novelty, and I thought it was kind of cute, and I figured if it didn't work for me, I could let my husband use it for his construction needs. And you'll see that I haven't even opened this up yet, taking it out of the box. What this does, this is a rolling measuring tape. You place your item down onto your fabric. Here, let me go ahead and open this so we can see what it looks like. You place it on your fabric, and it's like the old-fashioned when you used to go to your fabric stores. It would measure. If you could see right here, it's got the measuring numbers. As you place it on your fabric, and you start it at 0, and as you roll along, the number increases, so you can see where you're going to cut. And when you get to the number that you're supposed to cut, you would use this ruler and cut it. It's a very interesting piece of, it's an interesting tool. Again, I purchased it just as a fluke. I don't know if anybody else would want to use it, but I figured if I didn't, then I could let my husband use it for a measuring tool. All the rulers and measuring tools that I have were relatively inexpensive. I didn't spend a lot of money on them. I either bought them at one of the big box stores or one of the fabric shops. I've even ordered a couple of them online from specialty stores, as I mentioned when I was showing you the rulers. I like these rulers. I don't think there's any ruler that I haven't seen that I want. I'm pretty comfortable with my rulers. I know how to use them. They feel good in my hands. With the added expense of getting that rubbery strips on the bottom, they work fine. I don't have to go out and spend a lot of money on rulers. Like I said before, in subsequent future videos, I will show you how to use the specialty rulers, how to cut the fabric, how to set up the fabric. So until then, any comments, please list them below. Like, subscribe. I'm Liz. This is EMO's Creative Studio. Happy sewing, happy quilting. Until the next time, love ya.